Good morning. In this session, I shall be discussing about the sexual reproduction in Markantia. This topic is included in the unit Bryophytes of the second semester. I am Shobha Rani, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government First Grade College, Chikballapur. Markantia reproduces by vegetative and sexual methods. As we have already discussed in the previous session, the vegetative reproduction in Markantia is quite common and takes place by any one of the following methods. First, by the death and decay of the older portions of the thallus or fragmentation, by formation of adventitious branches, or most importantly, by the formation of specialized structures called gymi. Now if we look into the sexual reproduction in Markantia is oogamous. Oogamy is the form of sexual reproduction in which the female gamete, that is, egg cell, is non-motile and is significantly larger than the male gamete. The male gametes are typically highly motile and usually travel to bring about the union of gametes during fertilization. All species of Markantia are dioecious or heterothallic. That is, the male and the female reproductive structures are developed on separate plants. Male reproductive bodies are known as antheridia and the female as archegonia. Antheridia and archegonia are produced on special, erect, modified lateral branches of the thallus called antheridiophores and archegoniophores respectively. Further, the growth of the thallus is checked because growing point of the thallus is utilized in the formation of these branches. Although the gametophores are erect branches, they are actually direct extension of the prostrate vegetative thallus. This is clearly evident from the dorsiventral nature of the erect shoots with air chambers, air pores and rhizoids. The transverse section of the gametophore, that is antheridiophore and archegoniophore, shows that it can be differentiated into two sides, ventral side and dorsal side. Ventral side has two longitudinal rows with scales and rhizoids. These grooves run longitudinally through the entire length of the stalk. Dorsal side shows an internal differentiation of air chambers. Now if we see the antheridiophore shows 1 to 3 cm long prismatic stalk bearing at its apex a slightly convex peltate disc, which is usually 8-lobed structure. Each lobe represents the apex of the branch along whose upper or the dorsal median line the antheridia are borne in a row. The antheridia develop in an acropetal manner, that is, the oldest are being at the center and the youngest one towards the periphery. The antheridia are within the flask-shaped antheridial chamber. Each antheridial chamber contains a single antheridium. Each antheridial chamber is separated from one another by air chambers with air pores. The internal structure of the LS through the disc of antheridiophore reveals that the disc consists of air chamber alternating with the antheridial cavities. Air chambers are more or less triangular and open on the upper surface by a pore called osteole. In the diagram, you can observe that the antheridia arise in a acropetal succession, that is, the older one near the center and the youngest at the margins. Now if you look into the mature antheridium, a mature antheridium is globular in shape and can be differentiated into two parts, the stalk and the body. Stalk is short, multicellular and attaches the body to the base of the antheridial chamber. A single layered jacket encloses the mass of androcyte mother cells. The jacket layer consists of sterile cells. The androcyte mother cells later metamorphoses into antherozoids or male gametes. The antherozoid is a minute, rod-like biflagellate structure. The process of metamorphosis of androcyte mother cell into antherozoid is called spermatogenesis. It is completed in two phases, that is, development of blepharoplast and elongation of androcyte nucleus. Now if we move on to the archegoniophore, also called as carpocephalum, the archegoniophore arise at the apical notch and consists of a stalk and a terminal disc. It is slightly longer than the antheridiophore. It may be 5 to 7 centimeters long. The young apex of the archegoniophore divides by 3 successive dichotomies to form 8-lobed rosette-like disc. Each lobe of the disc contains a growing point. The archegonia begins to develop in each lobe in acropetal succession, that is, the oldest archegonium near the center and the youngest archegonium near the apex of the disc. Thus, 8 groups of archegonia develop on the upper surface of the disc. There are 12 to 14 archegonia in a single row in each lobe of the disc. The first formed archegonia with their neck directed upward become mature and fertilization is achieved at this stage. After fertilization, the stalk of the archegoniophore begin to elongate and the sterile central part of the disc starts to enlarge enormously. As a result, the marginal apical regions of the disc along with the groups of archegonia are pushed down to the lower side of the disc. The archegonia become inverted by a curvature of the disc. The youngest archegonium comes close to the stalk and the oldest towards the periphery of the disc. After the curvature, there is a development of one layered plate of tissue on either side of each group of archegonia. Thus, each group containing about 12 to 15 archegonia is enclosed by 2 layered pendant fringed involucral sheath known as pericytium or involucre, which hangs down from the underside of the lobe of the disc. There is an intercalary development of long, stout, green cylindrical process or rays from the periphery of the disc between the groups of archegonia. In Marchantia polymorpha, the rays are 9 in number. They radiate outward from the center of the disc like bare umbrella ribs and give the archegonial disc a stellate structure. Now if we look into the mature archegonium, a mature archegonium is a flask-shaped structure. It remains attached to the archegonial disc by a short stalk. It consists upper elongated slender neck and a basal globular portion called venter. The neck consists of 6 vertical rows of cells enclosing 8 neck canal cells and a large egg. 4 cover cells are present at the top of the neck. Now if we move on to the fertilization in Marchantia, Marchantia is dioecious. Fertilization takes place when the male and the female thalli grow near each other. Water is essential for fertilization. The neck of the archegonium is directed upward on the dorsal surface of the disc of archegoniophore. In mature archegonium, the ventral canal cell and neck canal cell disintegrate and form a mucilaginous mass. It absorbs water, swells up, and comes out of the archegonial mouth by pushing the cover cells apart. This mucilaginous mass consists of chemical substances. The anthrozoids are splashed by raindrops. They may fall on the nearby female receptacle or swim the whole way by female receptacle. It is only possible if both the male and female receptacle are surrounded by water. Many anthrozoids enter the archegonial neck by chemotactic response and reach up to the egg. This mechanism of fertilization is called splash cup mechanism. One of the anthrozoid penetrates the egg and fertilization is affected. The fusion of male and female nuclei results in the formation of diploid zygote or oospore. Fertilization ends the gametophyte phase. After fertilization, the following changes occur simultaneously. That is, the stalk of the archegoniophore elongates. Remarkable outgrowth takes place in the central part of the disc. As a result of this growth, the marginal region of the disc bearing archegonia is pushed downward and inward. The archegonia are now hanging towards the lower side with their neck pointing downwards. Wall of the venter divides to form 2 to 3 layered calyptra. A ring of cells at the base of the venter divides and redivides to form one cell thick collar around the archegonium called as perigynium or pseudoperianth. A one-celled thick fringe sheath develops on both sides of the archegonial root. It is called as pericytium or involucre. Thus, the developing sporophyte is surrounded by 3 protective layers of gametophytic origin, that is, calyptra, perigynium, and pericytium. The main function of these layers is to provide protection against drought to young sporophyte. Between the groups of archegonia, long cylindrical processes develop from the periphery of the disc. These are called rays. They radiate outward, curve downward, and give the disc a stellate form. In Marchantia polymorpha, as discussed earlier, there are 9 rays in number. Zygote develops into sporogonium at the end. Now if we finally look into the summary of the sexual reproduction in Marchantia, Marchantia is dioecious. Male and female sex organs develop on different thalli. Male reproductive organ is antheridia and female reproductive organ is archegonia. They are born on the mature gametophyte and are erect and modified stalks known as antheridiophore and archegoniophore respectively. Anthrozoids are produced in the antheridium. They are biflagellated and produced from the androcytes. The archegonium is a flask-shaped structure. It consists of several neck canal cells, a venter canal cell, and an egg. Water is required for fertilization like any other bryophytes. The neck canal cells and the venter canal cells disintegrate and form a mucilaginous mass which oozes out as the archegonia swells after absorbing water. It consists of chemical substances which triggers the chemotactic response. The antherozoids get attracted and swims towards archegonia. One of the antherozoids fuses with the egg and fertilization takes place. The male and the female nuclei fuse together to form a diploid cell called the zygote. And finally, the zygote develops into the sporogonium. This is the brief description of sexual reproduction in Markantia. Thank you.